Hey guys, welcome to Production Music Live. My name is Francois. In today's video, we are going to take a look at the style of a track called Ryax Dawn Tinlicker Remix. It's a track that was performed by Tinlicker in last year's Anjuna Deep Open Air. And we are going to take a look at the style of this track. And you can find the track, I'm not even sure if it's released yet. You can find it on the Tinlicker Live at Anjuna Deep Open Air YouTube. Absolutely fantastic track. And I actually first made a remake with Ableton with the original melodies and harmonies. Alright, and let's quickly take a look at the original version, remake version with the original harmonies here. This is the project I started working on, and I found the original source string track from Ryax Dawn that was used for this Tinlicker remix as well. This is what it sounds like solo. And these are super nice string sounds, and I try to remake those with contact libraries and stuff, but well, you're not going to get that close because this is just on another level here. But for us, it's also interesting to take a look at all these PLUCK sounds and how to like make the bass sound move around this source and kind of help you make a remix from it. And let's listen in quickly. And I think altogether, if you have this pattern here, which is perfect, and you have this string organic track, it's like pure gold mixed in together. I think it sounds fantastic. But for the sake of our tutorial video, we are going to look at the version with different chords and melodies, especially because I'm not even sure if that thing has been released or something. So let's go back and take a look at our version of this. Okay, and so here we have another version of that track in Ableton, and we have a fully arranged track here using only Ableton Live stock effects and instruments plus Serum. No other third-party plugins used for this one right here. We have a roughly 6.5 minutes long track, and we have an intro section here. We are building up. We are falling into a mini break, building it up into the first drop. And then we are building up all these elements here until we are reaching our second and main drop, where we are kind of filtering down some of these main melody and pluck elements to have like tension rising in this part here. And then we are releasing it into the main and second drop right here. This is kind of the climax of the song. And then we are slowly reaching the outro. So to gain a bit more overview, we have hi-hats and drum elements in this group here. On top of that, we have our kicks and some toms and stuff. And for the most part, our melody elements are in this added instruments group, but some of the absolute necessary main elements are in this area here where we have bass, a pad, a plucky pad, and our main plucks, and some other additional plucks for our harmony right here. And other than that, we have our effects group in here where we have crashes, impacts, reverse crashes, and risers and white noise and stuff like that. The usual things for an effects group. Okay, and let's quickly take a look at the single elements right here. And I have this copy of some of the main elements in the front. And so I copied the kick. Nice, deep, and subby kick again. Use that a lot in Ben Böhmer and Anjuna Deep style. And Serum bass. And when you're listening to that Serum bass kind of in solo mode, you might easily think that this is a bit too much. So let's take a look at the sound here. So this is one of our absolute main elements of this track. It's kind of much louder than the bass would be maybe on another track, but this really like gives our rhythm and gives like the punchline for this track. So this is a pattern we're playing. I have my grid set to 16th notes, and you can see this nice pattern with octaves here. We're in C minor in our first chord, then we're moving over to G minor, another octave bass up here, and slightly different in the second part. And then we're going over to our third chord, which is F minor added to, you will see that a bit later, with the root note, which is A flat here. In Ableton looks like G sharp. And then we have another one, it's in this case, and then we have another one here at the end, which is B flat in this case. In Ableton looks like A sharp. Okay, so these are our notes, and let's take a look at our sound in Serum. So we are using a saw wave here from our basic shapes, and we are using the basic CJW here from our analog wavetables, and the wavetable position is centered. Could also move it around. And you see they're slightly pitched with this fine adjustment, fine tuning of the pitch right here. So they're not exactly on top of each other. And we are using envelope number 2 for our amplifier here. You can see decay time of 900 milliseconds and sustain at about minus 11 decibels. And on the envelope number 2, we are controlling our filter, MG low 18 right here. Both oscillators go into that filter. You can see this one is a bit louder than that one. And our sub is going into it as well, but nothing is applied. So this is not really making any difference. And envelope number 2 controls this part of our filter envelope on the cutoff. And then we have drive applied just a little bit. No effects on Serum here. That's what it sounds without the filter. And let's take a look at our Ableton effect chain down here. We already found a compressor down here not doing anything because it's not routed to the sidechain, so we might as well take it off. Then we have an EQ here where we're kind of boosting the high frequencies above 1K by 6 decibels. And you can see we applied the logic of cut rather than boost, because you could also keep this at 0 and then add a high shelf with plus 6 decibels here, kind of resulting in the same thing. But, you know, one of those mixing rules is cut rather than boost, and also cut narrow, boost wide, another one. So we kind of try to make sure we apply this right here. Then we have an auto filter. Frequency, let's quickly take a look. That's the frequency we're kind of automating throughout the track at times. In the beginning, we're bringing it in, and at the end, we're taking it out. So this is auto filter from our audio effects up here. And we have the setting to PRD and drive up a little. Beefing up our sound here. Then I'm removing a few resonant parts, and I'm emphasizing on this area here. And removing this stuff here around 160, because that's the thing you do in the mix usually when it's adding up a bit too much down there. Okay, and this is a low cut auto filter. Where do we have it? Oh yeah, it's applied in front of our break parts here. That's when you bring it in, and in this break here as well. We're taking off some low end, basically. How does that sound? Actually, it's also applied on the master here with another filter. If we quickly take a look, yeah, you can see we're bringing up this auto filter, another low cut in front of our mini break and in this entire break part here to kind of create a little bit of tension there as well. Okay, what else? Sidechain and a utility controlling our overall gain of this element, because at times you need it a bit quieter in the beginning, for example, and you still want to make sure you have these volume faders here in our mixing board basically free to adjust whenever needed. That's why we always try to use a utility to control our gain. All right, so that's our bass sound, and the other key sound is our PLUCK sound. So this guy here. So we are in C minor and we are playing our root note for the most part, and our third alternating with the second here. Kind of nice tension. We can keep it completely stable in this upper part. And so again, it's one of those tracks where your bass changes will make the chord changes and the melody kind of as well. And that's also why our bass is mixed in so prominently. It's kind of making the melody of this track somehow. Okay, so let's take a look at the Serum PLUCK sound right here. Open up Serum and increase the size a little so we can see it properly. And you can see we have analog BD sine from analog, the third wavetable waveform here. And then we also have DS saw and triangle. They're equally loud mixed in here. And you can see there are a bunch of effects in Serum actually, but other than this filter, which is fully applied, but not fully opened up, they're not really doing much. Well, actually they do. So reverb is doing a little bit and delay is doing a little bit as well, but distortion is not really mixed in, as you can see. But let's first take a look at this part here. So we are sending both these oscillators into filter, MG low 24. And then our envelope number 1 on the amplifier has decay time of roughly half a second or 569 milliseconds and a release time of around 400 milliseconds. On the filter, controlling this part of our filter cutoff envelope, we have decay time of 1.5 seconds, but it's kind of cut off by the amplifier filter here, and a release time of 15 milliseconds. And kind of generating this attacky feeling with an attack time of 20 milliseconds. Okay, so this is our sound in Serum. Oh yeah, and as well, and going to our effects, our distortion is not really being used, but you can see delay and reverb are being controlled by space here. As you can see, we're moving that up whenever a note is triggered. And we don't really need this high pass filter right here. So this is our patch in Serum right now. And let's take a look at the remaining effects chain. We have a chorus applied on top to widen the sound. So it's more, you know, placed into the stereo panorama. If you're on headphones, should be clearly audible. And then there's another fake sidechain compressor here, which I forgot to take out. And then we have a low cut EQ here. Auto filter, again in PRD setting with a drive of 4 decibels here. And this is automating our cutoff over time at times when we want to take it out. Actually, I don't think I want to take it out here. Sorry. Okay. And I don't want to take it out here either. Okay. So yeah, so this is our auto filter. And then some tiny adjustments here in the mix, reducing this frequency around 500. Yeah, clear resonance here, but that's always something you will take care of in the mixing section. Sometimes people ask, hey, why are you using 2 different EQs here? This is for educational purposes for the most part, because then I can tell you this is a low cut, so that's the purpose. And this one here is kind of surgical because we want to use this one in the mixing stage. This one is you do a thing you do anyways because you're in sound design, and this one is here later from the mixing stage when you kind of want to remove resonant parts. So again, we're cutting narrow and we're boosting wide, and then we have a delay on top, 3 to 6 delay. Ping pong. And utility again, controlling the overall gain of the output. And oh, we have another filter. So that one. Okay, that one is kind of obsolete, but it hasn't got any drive. And this one here with the drive setting in front. Where's the one in front? Here. This one is kind of making it sound more analog. Beefing up the middle of the sound, and this one is here for these two are for the most part for, you know, automating frequencies over time in the arrangement section, and then a reverb on top, decay time of 2 seconds. Oh, this one is even an echo setting. Usually, if your CPU allows it, set it to high. By the way, if you ever have trouble loading such a bigger project file, you can always go ahead and freeze a couple of tracks, because actually, like a few templates in this style, Ableton templates, meaning Ableton projects arranged like this one here, are available in our PML Deep Vibes pack, which is a sound pack containing 4 Ableton templates in this style, MIDI files, and a drum sample pack with hi-hats, loops, perk loops, top loops, and one-shots for, you know, kicks and stuff. For example, nice hat loops. And perk loops. So basically you can pick up this pack and you will have these fully arranged Ableton templates at your fingertips, and you can use them as a source for your own productions. For example, use these plugs in a new track, use this type of bass in a new track, take these hi-hats, and so on. Okay, so that's our PLUCK Sound right here, sidechain in the end. And then let's take a look at our pads and chords. Okay, so nice stable chord progression here because our bass is more the melodic element. We are keeping this one quite stable in the top notes. We are in C minor in the beginning, right here. Can actually see it better if I bring it up. 2 semitones in between, minor third, major third to G, bringing it back down. If you don't know anything about harmony and chord progressions, feel free to check the link in the description to our harmony and chord progressions course, where we are starting from scratch, explaining everything about music theory and how to name chords, how to set them up, how they work, and you know, how to use them in electronic music production. And the second one is our G minor chord. Bring G up. So we can see minor third again, major third, and the root note on top one more time. And our third chord right here is F minor added 2. So let's bring up G, or in this case, A flat, and we have F minor here. And if I'm taking G down, we see it's an F minor chord with the second added right in. You always have a nice tension in those chords. And let's bring G back up. And what was our root? This one. So we have F minor added to with A flat as root note. Okay, and what is this one? G. That's G minor, another G up here, but again, root note B flat. In Ableton, it says A sharp. Okay, and our sound is generated by a wavetable here, sine wave and a saw wave, and a filter on top, 12 decibels per octave. Amplitude quite stable, just a little reduction in the decay time after 1.7 seconds. And now we need to make sure, since this is a groovy track, don't make your pads too loud, because otherwise you're killing the groove. See, that can easily happen, so we need to make sure we are not killing the groove. We also sidechain it properly and take off some lower frequencies of this pad sound. Okay, so these are our main elements of this track. If you get these right, the track will work pretty much nicely, because the hi-hats on this one are not super interesting. They're kind of the same hi-hat pattern I used in the last video where we took a look at Tinlicker Fractal Remake. It's pretty much the same thing. Feel free to check out the other video for a walkthrough for this hi-hat pattern here. Okay, so what else do we have? What kinds of elements do we add in as well? We have this PLUCK Sound here. What is it doing? It's just playing our fifth at times as a pluck. And we are kind of introducing this stability on a lot of elements. Also have this pad start element here, which is doing this. So as you remember, our track is in C minor, and we have C, our root note here, and we have G, our fifth, and then we have our third right here, E flat. And you can see I'm usually like messing around with these, trying out different things, and then Sometimes I forget to remove the other notes that end up not being used. But it's kind of a nice way, by the way, if you're looking for chord progressions and you're messing around, just deactivate notes where you're not sure, because otherwise you can't quickly go back to the previous version. And this is a soft pad made with Serum saw waves, and we're, using this tiny part of our frequency spectrum only, and then we are auto panning this to the left and the right. Notch filter here, and then sidechain on top. You can basically use almost any sound that contains a saw wave for this type of sound. What's this? Warm pad. Not even sure if I need this one here on the track, but this would help make your plucks feel a bit more paddy. Kind of depends if you want to make your track a bit more dreamy or a bit more straightforward. If you want it more straightforward, leave it out. If it's supposed to be more dreamy and trancy, then put it in. And then what else do we have? We have syncopating element here, typical for a Tinlicker sound. So I'm messing around with a fifth, with root note and a fifth again here to keep it stable. And then putting a lot of feedback on that delay here and removing some super resonant frequencies. Like this would be way too much information in our frequency spectrum that's already covered. So we're kind of filling up those areas where we are still having a little bit of room. Also with this one here, that's C. Playing through, typical for house music and also for the music in the style of Tinlicker. Then we have a high version of this one. That's the high top string, very typical for house music, and this one is being played on the fifth. You could also play it on the root note, would also work. And then we are adding a little bit of natural feel with a piano. And this is just a sampled version of the free version of the Keyzone piano, but I just sampled a few of the notes so it's easier to use and you don't need as many third-party plugins here in this when using this Ableton template. And then another sine wave high on top and some white noise-ish pad sound. I think we also had these two in the other Tinlicker's tracks. So kind of these recurring elements that artists use in many of their tracks because they sort of define their style. And now you remember in the beginning I said this is only using Ableton and one third-party plugin, which is Serum. Actually, I forgot using this Duduk thing on top here to replace these strings from Ryx Dawn, which like the original track has such a nice string sound from that track from Ryx Dawn, which is kind of impossible to remake that one with contact strings. I really tried and just doesn't sound that great. So I decided to take a free Duduk contact library. I'm putting a link in the description as well for this one. So you can pick up this taqsim thing right here. And it's a free Duduk. And I kind of messed around with a bunch of instances for the higher notes, track 3, for the mid frequencies, track 4. Duduks always have this nice vibrato. And then I layered it with some background string sounds. These are also sampled and can be easily used. And in this Ableton templates area here, I will also put in a version where these are bounced into Ableton. So if you don't have the contact thing or you don't want to get that free thing, you can still make use of the template and all the other elements of the template. For example, if you're only interested in bass and drum pattern and stuff like that, that would be fine as well. So as you can see, to make it sound a bit more natural, I group these and then I mess around with the gain. So to have sort of waves coming in and out. So this is kind of, it goes up and then it kind of goes down. And by the way, where's that wavy pattern? Oh, that's this one. So this is the overall gain control. And this is the more wavy pattern where I'm like, you know, kind of want to emphasize a little bit on this stringy sound. So it's kind of louder, gets quieter, gets louder again. And this one here is basically just playing an octave higher than that one. So to fill up the frequency range again on this sound as well. And let's quickly listen to it here. And we're setting up some nice tension here with these pads. You can see they're monotonic. We have no bass changes in this break part. We are just playing C minor. And we're kind of putting the gain up over time and bringing that in to create tension. And we are playing that string pattern on top. And in the same time, we are filtering down plucky elements. For example, I think this one here as well. Yeah, filtering that one down to make room for this tension. Oh yeah, and then we have this deep bass here. Yeah, and we're taking out all these elements one by one, and then we're left in this bar here with only our duduk and some reverse cymbal. And in order to emphasize on this duduk, I kind of made it a bit louder here, and for only this bar, I think I'm also taking off some, the delay and send effect 5 reverb long. Taking the reverb off as well to have this more clearly in the foreground. See, now it has delays and effects again, and here it's super clean. Okay, and now we introduce another typical element for Tinlicker. I kind of forgot this one. You have these impacts played with the synth. And you pretty much play them every bar. Root note or fifth will work again. And this also generates the illusion of a pad sound playing because it has a long reverb tail, but we don't actually have a pad sound. And it's kind of this ping that keeps everything going. And this is something that happens at times. I put in this other PLUCK Sound here. It's one of those things sometimes when I'm working on a track for a long time, then I get even more ideas for alternative melodies. Sometimes I'm not even sure if they should all be in there, but this is something, you see the strings will be gone here, and then we are focusing on our main pluck element from the Serum plucks here. Even putting these in the back here, those fifths. And then we're just introducing this other optional element here. Well, depending also a bit on how long you want to make your track, and if you're going to put vocals on top. If you don't put vocals on top, you can put in those plucks. Otherwise, you can fill this space with vocals. Yeah, and then we are kind of getting into the outro monotone bass, so we can easily mix it, or easier mix it into another track in a DJ set, for example. Okay, I think our claps can quickly be looked at as well. It's a bunch of layered claps. Let's play them together with the kick. Oh yeah, by the way, there's this late and deep kick element. These are just supporting our kick a little bit to make it sound a bit more groovy. And the pattern will go like this. It's more subtle in this track. Okay, so this is kind of the full track breakdown here. We have, as mentioned, a 6.5 minutes long track, fully arranged with Ableton. It's fully editable if you get the template, as well as all these other ones, like a fully arranged and fully editable mini EP, or actually proper EP. So feel free to check the link in the description if you're interested in that one. Also, if you're interested in start to finish courses where we are making tracks completely from scratch in Ableton, or if you're interested in learning more about arrangement, groove, sound design, harmony, or if you're a beginner and you really need to know about the basics of Ableton before moving forward, feel free to take a look at our website, productionmusiclive.com, our website supporting this channel and giving us the ability to put out videos like this one. Subscribe to our channel, leave a like and a comment, and I hope to see you next time. And let's fully play that track.